Fox, what up?
I'm a substitute Spanish teacher. Los estudiantes son mis amigos.
Something about the way Kathy plays Peggy, I think, kind of inspired the writing. It's like this feedback loop that gets going, and I think that character really came to life, and she ended up becoming one of my favorite characters.
The first voice that I did at the first audition was an improv, and that's the voice that stayed to this day, and I have no idea where it came from.
I like to do little improv games with the actors, and for example, the second episode where Peggy teaches sex ed basically came out of an improv game where I would ask all the Peggys to pretend that they were Peggy, you know, the character is this Texas woman, and that they were a substitute teacher and they were suddenly asked to teach sex ed and they weren't aware of it. And so they all had fun with that.
I got the script, and in it was Peggy's sort of journey to saying parts of the body that private parts that she'd been shy of saying. And so, like, it was really hard for her to say penis, so she'd start out with happiness.
Happiness. Penis. Penis. I did it. Vagina!
And that I got to scream vagina on the top of my lungs the second episode, I knew that I was home. I knew that I was in the right place.
That would have been a completely different character if Kathy wasn't doing the voice. I can guarantee it.
Honey, bring me my BC headache powder and a glass of water.
All right, Hank.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to do any voices on it in the beginning, and I think Greg wasn't sure if I wanted me doing any voices either. What happened was we just kind of like, he had done some casting and I didn't like the stuff I had heard, and so originally it was just, okay, I'll do the voice for the pencil test and see how it goes, and it just kind of fell into it.
Hey, oh, wait, man, this ain't gonna work out, man. These little old gals come around here, they just that flat out no, man.
Boomhauer, the idea for the character and the voice came first. When Beavis and Butthead was a show, I got a voicemail from a guy, and he thought the name of the show was Porky's Butthole. And I don't know how you get that out of Beavis and Butthead. Well, the butt, obviously, but... And he left this long message that I just kept playing over and over again. I just loved it. It was like, he'd say, well, I've been calling y'all for about a month now, gripe about y'all every time them dang old Looney Tunes come on, y'all put on them Porky's freaking old butthole. And it took me a long time to kind of figure out what, I think he was complaining that the show had too many commercials and that he didn't like the show. And at one point he said, well, I guess I'm gonna have to call the FCC about shutting y'all's butt down. And I liked the way that I like those guys where you kind of know what they're talking about, but they have the idea of what they want to say, but the words are just not keeping up with, their mouth isn't keeping up with their brain.
Sir, do you know anything about this?
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, doing one of them snipe hunts last night, man, with them sticks in the bag and them whack, man, if he'd go woo-loo, talking about that big mistake, y'all, right there in that cooler.
This beauty school homework is hard, Aunt Peggy.
Brittany Murphy, she was almost the only one who did a Luann that made it worth doing the character, because she was so real and interesting and never what you expected. Almost everybody else that tried out made her a ditzy, dumb blonde, and Brittany brought all these interesting levels to it that just made it a real interesting character.
Luann is a typical trailer trash teenager. She is a joy to be. She's bright and she lightens up all the dark corners of my head. She like comes from the brightest, most corner of my brain. She's very happy and joyous and very hysterical.
Look, Aunt Peggy, I got my practice head. It's got real hair and everything.
Well, Luann, it's a very nice head.
Don't touch it!
Yeah, I know. You know, I feel for that kid. I remember when I was starting out as a young barber, I felt so alone.
Nobody cares, Bill.
Bill Dauterive is pretty much like this. Bill likes Peggy, but Peggy doesn't like Bill very much.
I'm so depressed I can't even blink.
I auditioned first for Dale. You know, it just didn't feel right to me, and let's try Bill. And Bill seemed to be a much better fit for me. Mike was, at that time, in Austin. He wasn't available for those auditions, but as I remember it, we did it over the phone. So I read probably, you know, maybe 50 seconds of something that Bill did, and listening over the speakerphone. There's no noise at all, and I hear over the speakerphone after I'm done, I hear, "Well, that was about as funny as that could be," in kind of a Hanks thing. And he said, "So, got the job."
Sounds like your horn's going off.
You really think so, Bill?
Oh, yeah.
Where are its legs?
What are you looking at, Mo? A Japanese machine gun blew my shins off in WW2.
Toby Haas was a pretty outrageous guy who does the voice of Khan and Cotton.
I was in New York, and they just called me up over the phone, and they said, "Well, just try something kind of angry and loud." And then I came out to LA and I did it, and it was just kind of like a little bit of kind of a Ross Perot-ish sort of. Well, it's kind of mean and nasty, but loud the whole time. So he just screams so loud.
Hey, Missy, how about some sandwiches?
In animation, first there's a script. A lot of the first season episodes were based on, a couple of them were treatments that I had written and that Greg had written.
In the first season, a lot of the shows were stuff that Mike and I had prepared for the pitch. We had to come in with 6 ideas when we pitched it. So, for example, the bottle thing was an idea that I had had. Mike had this idea about the snipe hunt, and the thing with Khan had come out of his pilot.
I am Khan Supanusimpon.
So that's pronounced Khan, right?
As the show went on, the writers contributed more and more, and a lot of times they would come in with a fully formed story. But whatever it is, it starts with an idea, and we bat it around, and we talk about it in the writing room, and we kind of zero it down and shape it.
What I ended up doing a lot of was just writing memos and things about, like, I think this would work better this way, and like just meeting in a room and just talking it through and trying to get the story nailed down.
We'll have a plan, like, I don't want this scene, I do want this scene, I want a new scene about this, I like this joke, I don't like this joke, can we beat this? And a lot of times it works best if you're very democratic and you trust the taste of the other writers. We hadn't premiered yet, so we had to do the whole season before anybody knew whether we'd be successful or not. So that led the executives to feel, I think, pretty free about giving a lot of writing notes. So what would happen is we would have a table reading on Friday, we'd get a ton of notes on stuff, and then the Monday and the Tuesday of the following week, we would often be up very late trying to get it ready for the table reading on Wednesday.
You gotta stop and smell the rose sometime. Don't be such type A's.
So on a table read, we have all the actors there. We have some network executives and studio executives and the entire writing staff and the other staff members of the show. And basically, the more the merrier. Try and pack the room, because say you have some little wisp of a joke that a lot of people aren't paying attention on. If the room is filled, you get a laugh off it. I probably shouldn't mention these kind of trade secrets.
That's ridiculous. You are so going, I won't hear another word about it.
It's just a dumb party.
A dumb party with girls.
Well, I don't like girls.
And face twitches.
Peg, honey, close the screen door.
And we do another rewrite, and then it's recorded with all the actors in this building using this vast array of knobs.
Hey, I've got an idea. Let's have lunch at that place we used to go to when we smoked. With the jazz combo.
When we smoke? Oh, Smokies?
Yeah, that's the one.
I direct the voices, and that's, a lot of fun, but that's a whole different thing. And it's really the easiest part of being a director, because you can just sit on your butt, and they are standing there like a radio show in front of microphones, and you go, louder, softer, funnier.
Okay, let's try it one more time.
Okay.
All right.
Roll, please.
Rolling index number 13.
Scene 4, take 2.
Listen, son, everybody's heard the government's lying about the dangers of tobacco, but that's only half the story. Open up your eyes, man. Nobody talks about those 4 scientists in Brazil and their experiments saving fruit bats' lives with cigarettes.
You edit